The way I create the retreats, I put in like so much of an effort to make sure that everyone is so well taken care of. I want people to be blown away by the experience. And after starting to, host the retreats myself, I am doing A to Z, right? So if I'm to cut corners anywhere, I would cut corners on my profits. I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear. The experience should be top notch. So I want people to be rest assured that they are getting super great value for what they are spending. That's one. When they come to the retreat from their side, come with an open mind. That's all I ask.
This is your host, Dyutama, but you can call me DJ. And I love to inspire food photographers to dream. I spent 15 years as an architect studying buildings and constructing hospitals before taking the biggest leap of faith of my life, which was setting up a food styling and food photography business right from scratch. If you're a dreamer like me, wanting to start a new photography business or grow your existing food photography business, jump right into a world where I share practical, actionable strategies to improve your photography skills, to work with clients, make more money, all with a fearless mindset. This is the My Food Lens podcast, and we take you one step closer to your dreams. So let's go. Welcome back to part 2 of this conversation with Seema. Seema is here and she's telling us all about creative retreats and how life-changing they can be and how pivotal they can be in actually helping us build our business. We work day in and day out trying to improve our photography skills, trying to book more clients, pitch endlessly, and just basically making all ends meet somehow so that we can run a sustainable business. But at the end of the day, what is it? What is it that makes a real difference? It is the health of our creativity, the health of us as a creative and who we are. What's sparking that fire in us? What's keeping us going? What's making us not quit, right? The answer to all of this lies within. And there are certain aspects of running a business, like attending retreats, that are essential and core to being able to create a healthy business. It is actually at the top of a list and it is mostly underrated, quite underestimated usually, but so important. Now, Seema is hosting her next retreat in Bali. It is in May this year. And if you look at the photos, your jaw will drop. If there is one investment I would encourage you to make for yourself this year, for your health, for your nourishment, I would highly encourage you to go check out the link of the Bali retreat and see whether this is something that will help you find yourself, rediscover yourself, refresh yourself, and basically bring back that fire and drive that might have slowed down a little bit, or maybe it's on top speed. And guess, if you nourish it just a little bit more, what it'll do for you. So go check out the link for the Bali retreat because boy, I'm already going. I'm going to be there. And so this will definitely be a chance for us to meet, chit chat, hang out in the pool together, maybe catch a spa, sit down, have some soulful conversations. You can ask me your questions. And of course, we can have some delicious Indonesian food, which is I'm just only dreaming about it. So go check out the link for the Bali retreat. I will highly encourage you to attend, and especially because I will get to meet you as well. So let's get on with part 2 of our conversation. It's loaded with stories, loaded with laughter, and loaded with absolute soulful information that you don't even know you need. All right, so don't you go anywhere. Stay hooked to your earphones and let's hear what Seema has to say. The competition makes us so insecure. We are constantly competing with everybody on Instagram. We are competing with people in our city. We're competing for the same brand. But to have bonded with people and then to come back and to be able to have that safe space That is absolutely priceless.
Yeah. And the other thing I've seen is I've seen people who have branched out into different streams related to food photography, which may not be directly food photography. Actually, I learned from one person, you can do image licensing. How do you go about that? She spoke about that at length to everyone. And I know at least four people after the retreat try to enroll themselves in on that platform, and you can make
Mm.
money. Just it gives you creative freedom because you work on a brief from that supplier or that website. You get a brief, you go off on your own, no one is monitoring you, you do your thing, and you submit your pictures to be monetized. I mean, how cool is that? And
Yeah.
she's made a career out of that. I never knew of this, and the others didn't know of this, and they were like, hey, this is great. So all these kind of things, I mean,
Mm.
who says that you don't get tangible benefits out of a retreat, really? I mean,
Yeah.
sure, there's no structured tutorial to learn hard skills, but you're mingling with peers. Some are very successful in their businesses, and you can learn from them in an informal setting, with no pressure, absolutely. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
And all
I'm
the results just follow on their own. I mean, the creativity can add to the variety of your portfolio. Maybe, the confidence can make you a little bit more determined about, oh, let me try one more style. I saw her taking photos like that. Let me go home and try, how this works out. And maybe that leads you to your unique style. And once you start tapping into that, your portfolio grows. And then, of course, when your portfolio grows, your career opportunities grow. And like you said, conversations can lead to business ideas, and business ideas can lead to sustainability, security, financial viability, and a buzzing business. So this is all so interrelated. It's just not in our faces. And that's why we always feel that if we are not working with a client and not bringing in direct money, our business is not growing. But really, there is this, just like Wi-Fi has this indirect wires and strings we cannot see in the universe, and someone's pulling them and the internet is working. Similarly, I feel like Retreat has all these indirect wires and strings that are hanging out in the universe, and we are just pulling them. You cannot see it, but it's all working for you. So
yeah.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit, Seema. We have talked a lot about your purpose and how you are serving your purpose by creating these retreats. We have talked about how these retreats compare to workshops or online communities or Zoom calls, and what is the benefit of actually attending one in person. So we've covered all of that, and I just want to shift gears now, and I want to talk about, all right, people who are listening, they're feeling like, yes, I need to be at a retreat this year. I'm definitely going to put it on my list. It looks like something that is going to enrich me and fulfill me and just make me happier and make me more skillful and talented. So people are like, now their minds are buzzing. And so how should they go about it? Like, there is, now that they have, retreats have become so popular and there's so many choices and half of them are your friends. Come on now. How should we photographers choose the right retreat for our needs and goals?
So it's actually very clear in my mind, but I can understand from person who's looking at retreats/workshops, it can be confusing. I mean, most workshops have a retreat element to them, and your mind is going to say, "Oh, go for that," because you're getting 2 for 1 or whatever it is. Having said that, you should be very clear about what you want out of that platform, whether you want learning or you want to rewind and rejuvenate, because it's difficult for both to happen in a very dedicated way. It's not easy to create that environment and then to also make you learn, sit down and learn and do exercises and, shoot specific things and explain specific things and then take you sightseeing, and then you should feel refreshed and rejuvenated. It's not going to happen in the truest sense. So if you want to learn hard skills and you're at that stage in your life, please, by all means, do that. But I think in my experience, people are more attuned to thinking, I need to know how to do color grading. I need to do how to do styling. I need to know how to do composition. But they're not geared. None of us are actually, a lot of us are not geared to think that I need a mindset reset. Nobody thinks that, hey, I need to take a break. I need to take a break. I need to sort of do the retreat thing and not a workshop thing. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't come naturally to people. Your funds are limited, and you are like, I have $100 or whatever it is. I'm going to put it all into retreat plus workshop and not put 75 into just retreat, you know. So I'm seeing that. I respect people's decision, and all I would like to say is to be aware. I started saying that at the beginning. I want people to accept that there is a requirement for you to be mindful of your delicate creative mind and to nurture it.
Yeah.
I just want awareness. Because when you have that and you make a informed decision,
Yeah.
that's totally cool. That's
Yeah.
your decision. I 100% respect that.
Mm-hmm. So true. Our needs at different stages of our creative journeys are different. And so, where you are right now should decide what you need. Because for me, I never go for a teaching retreat. For me, that's an absolute no. I feel like that's just not my idea of a getaway retreat. And so, your retreats are just such a standout. I mean, even from the photos that I've seen. And, I just remembered something that I must say that we talk about how conversations spark ideas, and I learned something different in my photography from you, by the way, Seema. So when I was not getting my Italy visa on time, and it was very dicey whether I'll make it or I'll not make it, and it was not even 48 hours before the retreat was to begin, I think that's when I got my visa or something like that. I literally packed my bags in 1 hour and left for the airport. I was very tight on suitcase space. And I was like, oh, shucks, who's bringing what, man? And we were all like discussing in the WhatsApp group. And I know that, Sue said, oh, I'm bringing this and I'm bringing my tripod, but only I'm doing this. And then I'm like, oh, okay, is everybody bringing a tripod? And then I remember you chipping in and saying, I'm not bringing a tripod. And that's because I quite enjoy shooting without a tripod. Now, I'm a very tripod kind of a girl, all right? And so I'm just like, what is she talking about? How can you move around without your tripod? I'm just so used to that. And so I was all like, okay, fine. She's saying she's going to do it. I'm going to do it too. I didn't carry anything except I can't even remember whether I think I carried my laptop, but I had no tethering cable, I had no tripod, and this was really after shooting for so many years for clients, you just become so used to photographing in your own set way that to break away from it is very difficult. And you think, I was not nervous. I'm standing there with all these amazing photographers. And I'm like, oh, shucks. Okay, first, let me set it up like this. Let me try that. And let me do this. And I'm like, okay, wow, I am really using my camera handheld after maybe 5 years, so it pushes you out of your comfort zone as well. And if you're even worried whether you will learn technique or not, hell yes, you will. Remember we had that pasta making session,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
moment the lady, she was this renowned Italian author. Oh my God, what a celebrity she was. She came to teach us how to make pasta, and none of us were interested. We all stood on the other side of the table, and she's like, who's going to make pasta with me? And we are all just looking at each other because we were like, somebody go make the pasta because we want to take the photos, you know?
That's right.
So
That's right.
yeah, I mean, the way photography and learning opportunities present themselves at a retreat is just mind blowing.
You mentioned about handheld photography. Costas said the exact same thing. This was the first time in Cotswolds that he was trying handheld, photography, and he was like, "I said, Costas, just go ahead and do it. It's going to be super liberating." And he was like, "Is this even a thing?" And he did it, and he was so happy. It opened his eyes to a new way of filming, and this is a thing. I mean, you will learn technicalities. You're surrounded by your tribe. Everyone's sharing, everyone's guards are down. They're open. They don't see you as competition. They are supportive. They're encouraging. They're showing you the settings on their camera. Why are they doing what they're doing? If that's not technicalities, what is it?
Yeah,
But you're learning it in an unstructured way, you know?
exactly.
And
Yeah. So I was recently talking to a wonderful food photographer, and she is just such a gem of a person. And we were speaking sometime last year, and it was 6 months before she was scheduled. She had bought a ticket to this amazing teaching retreat. So she would go learn, and it was also a retreat. And she was nervous. She's like, I don't know how to prepare. I don't know what to expect. And she was nervous that she would be shooting with a lot of other photographers, and maybe some of her weaknesses would come in front. And she was like, how do I prepare? I'm feeling so nervous. Will I be okay? What if someone, that comparison is always there. So, Seema, I want to ask you, it's not easy to completely surrender yourself to this experience. There is a lot of nervousness that comes along with being in the company of some people are ahead of you in their careers, in their journeys, and some people are at your level. Some people might be new. So there are different people at different levels, and there can be a sense of intimidation. There can be a sense of comparison, So if someone is interested in joining their first retreat, what is the advice that you would give them?
I always say this. I have photographers who are lesser established ask me, hey, I'm still new in this journey. Is this for me? A mindset retreat is for everyone because everyone's going through different phases in their life, which they need to address. By that, I don't mean everyone's going through troubled times. An established photographer or somebody who's doing exceedingly well may just want to just chill and hang with other photographers and just do travel photography, just clear your mind, go into nature, take pictures of little things that catch your eye, which you normally don't do in a studio environment. So the retreat is for everyone. And I understand that, it's intimidating to think that, oh, this person was on that retreat. So is that for me? Just come with an open mind and give that established person a chance to show that that person is as human as the rest of us, has the same challenges. I can't do that. I can't say that to people. You have to experience that. I've had such amazing experiences across 3 retreats. People are wonderful. You're at ground zero. No one is a diva. No one is, too big. Everyone is at a human level. This is all I can say from experience. It's not intimidating at all. I don't know how else to put this.
I'll add to
How?
that. I'm going to say that imagine that you're being invited to be hosted and pampered and to just really be taken care of. All you have to do is show up and then just
Yeah,
be present. And then imagine someone is hosting you. You're at a party, that's it. So go
yeah,
with, I would say that, go with that level of excitement and enthusiasm that you're just going to go and have fun. And I feel like that's
yeah,
the mantra for our creative journey as well, whether you're building a business or not. If you're not having fun, then there's just absolutely no one is forcing you to do this. I don't know one food photographer who is being forced to be a food photographer.
yeah,
Everybody's out of passion. Like they are running these businesses because they are passionate about it. This is what they love to do. So just go with the same mindset that you're just going to go and have a blast. And somebody is
yeah.
waiting to pamper you over there. So take the full
Yes.
advantage, right?
I mean, I've had photographers who are not food photographers, they're lifestyle photographers, but they came to just experience it and loved it and they want to
Mm,
repeat it. Everyone is an adult, everyone is mature, everybody has life lessons to share with each other, irrespective of how big or small a photographer you are in the numbers sense.
mm-hmm.
There are some people who are so quiet at the retreat, they are introverted, they're quiet, but when they speak, everyone listens because this makes sense.
Yeah,
They make
yeah,
sense. The
yeah.
minute they feel like, okay, these guys are not actually intimidating, they're nice guys, maybe I should also open myself up a bit, because everyone is opening themselves up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about crying, sharing sob stories. We had such a blast, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all
Whatever
the sandwiches,
happens.
we were sharing sandwiches. We were like, you give me that half. And, there were these, pajama evenings, and we would just hang out. And many times we were like, we just want to sit inside. And someone would be doing the photography. And then some of us would be having this a heated Instagram discussion. And, also like there was just so much. I also feel like there's a lot of ways in which I feel like those who are a little bit more outgoing and extroverted, they always are mindful about those who are not. And in
That's
small
exactly right.
groups, they always try to include them, because I know that there were some in our group. And at least for me, I love to know people's stories. And I love to understand why they do what they do. Why are the food photographers? And I'm not going to take names, but there were some who were very quiet. And I would, when we would be walking to the train station or something, I would just walk together with them and I would try to understand. And oh my God, the inspiration, people having full-time jobs, two children, and still being a hobbyist food photographer who pays for this to come for the retreat when they are not even making any money out of food photography. I was just blown out of my mind. So the kind of inspiration there is, and I feel like there is a space for everyone to grow,
Yeah.
to talk. And by the end of it, everybody's just at the top of their voices, laughing, shouting,
Yeah.
doing, singing, whatever they, or dancing, whatever they need to do. And also your retreats, I think 5 days. Am I right, Seema?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a
It's going to be
very
six
good.
days, the next one. Next one is
uh,
going to be six
Oh,
days.
wow.
Yeah.
So it's
Five
a
nights. Yeah.
very, yeah, it's a very good time to get comfortable and to open up and to understand that, I trust, I'm safe, I feel good, to get in tune with what you are feeling about being there. I know another food photographer, and I was chatting with her, and she was going through a tough time in her life, in her personal life, in her financial life, and she came from a corporate background. And she was actually not doing very well financially at the time. And she told me that she saved for months and months only so she could go and attend a wellness retreat. And she
Wow.
said her entire life changed after that. And she said, if I have to save, I would save for things like that. I mean, that just speaks volumes, that somebody who is in financial debt, somebody who's going through a personal, turmoil in their life with their partners, with their children, they save to attend a retreat. It must have some weight.
Yeah.
So tell me, Seema, how do you think, like, when people are investing, when they are going to put in so much thought and, out of making this big selection of, okay, fine, I'm going to be away from my family for 5 days. I'm going to go around the world to this new place and spend, 5 precious days with these folks. How do you think that photographers can maximize their experience at a retreat?
Um, so first of all, I would like to say that, people who've come to the retreat, saved money and, seen value, I salute you, because against all odds, you have clarity on at that point in time of what you needed, and you took that decision to make it happen instead of, getting into that whole cycle of, oh, I need to actually buy a new lens and whatever. So hats off to these people. And coming to the retreat, so the way I create the retreats, I put in like so much of an effort to make sure that everyone is so well taken care of. I want people to be blown away by the experience. And after starting to host the retreats myself, I am doing A to Z, right? So if I'm to cut corners anywhere, I would cut corners on my profits. I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear. The experience should be top notch. So I want people to be rest assured that they are getting super great value for what they are spending. That's one. When they come to the retreat from their side, come with an open mind. That's all I ask. And appropriate clothes and footwear. That is important. Don't come in an evening gown to Bali.
Oh, and that means your next retreat is in Bali, right?
Yes,
So,
yes,
yes, we are like, I have seen photos of where we are going to stay. I'm in it, I'm attending.
yes.
Oh my, I've been to Bali is my second home. I have been to Bali, like, I can't even count how many times. I've lost count. It is so magical every time. But I saw photos of where we are going to stay, and I'm like, oh boy, it has a sense of luxury. at the same time, it had that sense of calm. And like you said, you really, Seema, are the hostess with the mostest. Like, I remember how we felt in Florence. You were actually spending time with every single, you usually, your retreats are 10 people, right? They,
Yeah.
yeah, 10 participants at one time. And then I saw how you were spending time with everybody. And there were some folks who were sensitive to little, food allergies, or some people who were sensitive to very little things, and you were taking such good care of everybody. You knew who was, who gets tired, who gets nose infection, and who does this, and who
Mhm.
needs what, and who needs a separate bed, and who needs who can be bunked together, and who eats what. And oh my god, your attention to detail was something. And as women, especially working women, and especially those of us who have children, we are just constantly, day in and day out, looking after people. And for people like me who also have two dogs, oh boy, talk about that. Like, the only time where I can feel like in a day I take out time for self care is the time that I exercise or work out. Other than that, from morning to night, all I'm thinking about is everybody else in my family and my work. And so to be able to, fall back on someone who's saying, come and let me host you, I think that is just such an opportunity for us to kind of let go, with full trust. So now that you have revealed where our next destination is, can you tell us, like, in general, if you had to, like, not just say Bali, but in general, if you had to very quickly walk us through what, 5 magical days look like, if someone chooses to attend, can you just quickly
Yeah.
walk us through that whole experience?
Sure. So the first day, typically people, guests arrive at around 4:35 or whenever their flight comes in. And so we get together, and there are welcome drinks, and there's a beautiful dinner. I always do a private chef who creates for us fresh local produce, and the highest quality food. So that happens, and everybody goes, changes after the welcome drinks, comes down and has dinner. And that's when nobody knows each other, right? So they're just talking, they're making small talk. And me as a host, I have certain icebreaker exercises which I try to see that people are comfortable with each other. The next morning, breakfast happens, and that day, I found out that if there's an activity together, people start bonding easier. So it's going to be an activity which you do together. In Bali, for example, it'll be like a yoga class or a Balinese cooking class, together, and then you do shopping, and you're either having lunch by food prepared by a chef, or if you're outside, we go to a really, really nice restaurant. And I am very particular about where we eat, what we do. It has to be the best quality stuff. And so I do my research beforehand. I always book beforehand because we're a big group. I don't want them to say we don't have place, and we can't be hopping from place to place to find a place. So everything's taken care of, and you do shopping together, and you come back. By that evening, by the second evening, is when people actually let their guards down, because they start trusting each other. They've had conversations in the house, outside of the house, and they start bonding. And that's when the fun starts, because then people are
Hmm.
really chill, and
Yeah.
the alcohol helps.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the next day is when I put in some bits of sightseeing. So sightseeing is important because you're traveling to a destination, you cannot not see the culture of that place. However, I don't make it too hectic. I don't want people to feel so tired, that you don't want to do it the next day. So I've designed these, the next 2 days will be partly sightseeing, partly shopping, partly night clubbing, that kind of vibe. I've pasted in such a way that it's not super exhausting for people. There's a pool, so after you come back, you can do a pool, chill in the pool, have some alcohol, some bites, and then we go out. And also, if there's somebody who doesn't want to do what I have, scheduled to do, that's totally cool. I will make sure that the person, if the person wants to stay in, doesn't want to go out for whatever reason, there will be somebody catering for that person with food and alcohol and whatever else you need, or just tuck you in bed,
Yeah.
so you'll be taken care of. And the last day, the last night, I want to do something spectacular always, you know. So
Yes.
Bali, I had something planned,
Oh, I
something
remember
planned.
Florence.
I
I
can't
remember
wait.
Florence. Oh my God. I remember how you just completely like swept us off our feet on. So I'm not going to give
Mhm.
anything away. I know how hard you work at selecting that one stellar moment for everybody. So, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, the second day we also do a group photo shoot, which is very kind of important. And I actually ask people to carry certain colored clothes so that we can have the vibe of the place. So for Cotswolds, it was, I think it was summer, so, you know, bright and those colors. If I'm doing in autumn, it'll be the burgundies and the beiges and whatever, you know. And Bali is going to be colorful, I'm guessing. I've
Mm,
still got to put my thoughts towards refining everything, and it's happening
yeah.
right as we speak. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be epic.
And
Can't
Bali
wait.
has that feel to it. You know, Bali is just the moment you set foot in that place, it just transports you to another place. And I remember that we had a certain theme of the photo when we were in Florence, and it was, these very light pastel colors, and everybody is in this very countryside kind of a feel. And I know that, we curated this beautiful photo. And after that, we were like, to heck with it, man. And I was always, you know how I'm always making videos. I just love it. I just capture every moment in a video.
Oh,
And
you're
I'm
amazing.
and I'm like, come on now, get goofy, everybody. Stop this. And so someone's just eating an apple, someone's twirling a rose, somebody's twirling themselves. And in that, attire, everybody's doing something goofy, funky, just making a funny face. And it was such a contrast to what we are wearing, what we're feeling. We're depicting something, and suddenly, boom, we end it at such a this thing. So it's just there's so many such moments of fun that come through. And you've of course elaborated day one, day two, day three, but it's really like a picnic. It's very relaxed. And from what I remember was, oh my God, the food. Obviously, we were in Italy, but Bali is no less. I mean, having been there, I'm very sure that you have, curated something that we live for it. Like most food photographers
Absolutely.
live for it, right?
Absolutely.
So we talked about the 5 days, Seema, but when you are curating these 5 days and you're thinking that, oh my God, you're walking in the shoes with us, and when we arrive and from the moment and how we live through the experience of those 5 days, on the sixth day, when people leave, what do you want them to feel? And how do you want them to walk away from your retreat?
The last day basically is
Yeah.
extremely emotional because by that time everybody has become really good friends and have bonded, and it really feels like you're tearing your heart apart, you know, when they leave, because you don't know when you're going to see each other again. And it's extremely emotional. I've had 3 retreats now. It's the same across the retreats. I want people to go back thinking, what an amazing experience that was. What a great decision that was. I've made friends for life. You know, I felt somebody took care of me for a change. Sorry, I'm a little emotional talking about it, but they deserve it. You know, they deserve all of that.
So I'm going to share my personal experience here, and I want to really share it. It's not something I've even told you ever, Seema.
Mm.
I've never ever talked about this, and that is, it was my visa had a lot of issues. It was summer, it was peak travel, and I was not getting my visa on time, and I was busy manifesting. Okay, I'm not even going to lie. I really manifested my whole trip to Florence, and I was like, I'm just going. I just don't know how I'm going to make it. But the point of getting your visa last minute is that you also have to do many bookings last minute. And when you book last minute, you are paying premium prices. I've had to buy business class tickets to Europe from Asia. So you can imagine my ticket prices were just through the roof. And then my husband and my daughter didn't get a visa on time. So I had to travel alone when the original plan was that we'll make it into a family holiday. And my husband was like, you take the visa and you go. Don't worry about us. This is your time. And he said, so what if we can't be on the holiday? You go and you take a holiday. And he sent me off to Italy for 10 days alone. So can you imagine? And then there I am. I've spent thousands of dollars on just the flights. And somehow I manage, to reach Florence on time. We have this wonderful retreat. And then I have another 5 days that are planned in Italy, which was also booked last minute, which means extra cost. And by the time I finished everything, I had spent over $10,000. I'm not
Wow.
even exaggerating.
Yeah.
And at that time, my husband didn't question why I needed to go and whether I was willing to cancel. I didn't question that, oh, when will I be able to make back these $10,000? What am I going to get out of the retreat? I didn't question that, oh my God, where is this money coming from? Am I taking it from this budget or that budget? At that time, the only thing that was on my mind was I really wanted to be there. And there's always this feeling that you need to be at a certain place at a certain time. And for me, that was my gut feeling. And after the retreat was over, when reality hit and I saw the credit card bills, and I was like, oh my God, that was one hell of an expensive trip.
Oh, God.
The only thing that came to my mind was, gosh, was it worth it? Oh my God, it was so worth
Oh,
it. I'm so glad I spent the money because that experience was something I would have never had. And it's for another podcast about how much of my strength, my resilience, and my perseverance was tested, just to get there. And then to be on a solo trip to Europe without my daughter and my husband, and to still be expected to have fun without my family. Like there were a lot of things that were new. And when I came back, I was not the same person. In 10 days, I was not the same person. I had spent more money than I had ever imagined, So what I want to kind of emphasize here is that money is never going to be the criteria. It's never going to be the reason why you go or you don't go. It is going to be the medium. It is going to be something that helps you to get there. But when you walk away, of course, Seema said that, she wants you to walk away and thinking, oh my God, I had such a great time. I can guarantee you that you will not be the same person. Absolutely. And now I'm emotional.
thank you so much. I'm so honored. So honored. Yeah,
Really, I
this is it's seriously life-changing. I mean, for me as well. I'm so fortunate to have crossed paths with so many wonderful people because of these retreats, and I've learned so much life lessons, camera lessons, business lessons, everything. It's been an absolute ride, joy ride for me, and I can't wait to see where this takes me from here. So
absolutely,
excited.
Seema. And I would encourage everyone who's tuning in to at least give it one try. It's nothing, it's once, Go try it out, see what this brings to you. And remember, money always comes and goes, right? But experiences, feelings, what we think, bonds, connections, they stay with us for our entire life. So if someone had to ask me, I would give just such a huge thumbs up. And I think that just from the whole point of not always talking about money, clients, and pricing as the essentials of business, like you said, having a wellness program for ourselves so that we can bring money back into our business. I think this should be, attending a retreat should be the number one thing on our expense budget for this year. So, Seema, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else that you would like to add and leave our listeners with today?
Thank you so much for this platform and for letting me speak about my passion project, DJ. It means a hell of a lot to me, and I hope after listening to this, people at least have a clear perspective of what they need, of what their body needs, what their mind needs, what their heart needs, and take an informed decision of whatever you choose to do. Whatever your priorities might be, but do not neglect your own self. You are worth it. And I'm here to take care of you. Just give me one opportunity. I'll blow your mind off.
And I can vouch for that. I can vouch that no one can do it like Seema does. So, Seema,
Oh.
tell us, where can we find more information about the Bali retreat, and share your Instagram and your website with us as well, please?
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Seema Rose Photography, and my website is seemarosephotography.com. If you want to go straight to the Creative Retreats page, then /creative retreats, and you'll find all the information about Bali. And if you don't want to go to those lengths, just DM me. I'm always there. I'm extremely responsive. Anything you need to know, even if that information is there on the website, please ask me. I'll be more than happy to clarify for you. And I can't wait to see some of you in Bali. Also, I mean, if you have any doubts in your mind whether or not you should be taking this retreat, if there is some uncertainty, something that you want to ask me, please feel free to ask me. By asking me, I will not hold you to it and say, oh, now that you've asked me, you have to come to my retreat. It's nothing like that. I would love to help you make a decision from a very unbiased perspective. So if there's any doubts in your mind about the retreat itself or whether you need it or not, please feel free to DM me. I'm always here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Seema. What an honor, what a delight, and what an absolutely soulful, mindful, immersive conversation, just like your retreats. Thank you, Seema.
Thank you, DJ. You're the best. Thank you so much for all your positive vibes. And I cannot wait to meet you in Bali. Guys, you're going to be meeting DJ. Remember, if you come to Bali, she is a force to reckon with, and you will learn so much from her. So think about that.
So that was part 2 of our conversation with Seema. You heard it from her. She is so excited and so looking forward to her retreat in Bali. And I truly hope that this conversation has opened up a new way of thinking for you, a new way to be able to nurture and nourish your creativity, your skill, your talent, your friendships, just by attending a creative retreat. Go check out the link of the Bali retreat. I'm going to be there, and I would be absolutely delighted to have you there and meet you over there. I can imagine us chilling by the pool or hanging out in the spa or just having beautiful, fun conversations. Maybe we can trouble Seema a little bit in the background. We can have all our fun pranks as well. So it's just going to be an absolute blast. And if there is one thing I can say, I have attended Seema's retreats before. When you go in and when you come out, you are not the same person. The way she hosts her retreats are so different from any other you would have attended. It's like a warm hug. It's like, I got you kind of a feeling. And so go check out the link, and I would highly encourage you to attend. All right. With that, I hope that these 2 parts of our conversation with Seema have just opened a new way of thinking for you, that you are now able to understand that the only thing that matters in building your business is your health, your wellness, who you feel you are, how you are nurturing your creativity, and how you are identifying and securing your skills and talents and keeping that fire in your belly. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this topic, because we have not had it on the podcast before. And I think it is so essential for any of us who are actually stuck or feeling like we've hit a roadblock, because we may not have considered that actually the part that's missing is this nourishment piece. All right. With that, if you have any questions about the Bali retreat, or if you have any questions or any thoughts about this topic, you know where to find me. Come find me on hello@myfoodlens.com or DM me on Instagram at Dyutama_myfoodlens. All right. I'll see you next week with another episode, or I'll see you in Bali. All right. Bye-bye.